Hey everybody, and welcome to DGS Productions. I'm your host, D.G.S. Now I know we did a full recap of the Masters Cup this past week. I wanted to highlight something that came to my attention since then. Something that I feel like is a grave overlook in the 2017 Masters Cup FBO field. As many of you know, the Advanced Division winner of the AM weekend of the Masters Cup tournament, Thomas Tomaselli, was given the opportunity to compete in the Pro Tournament. Now this is a tradition in the Masters Cup, and it has been also for other tournaments as well. Tomaselli was also given the opportunity and featured on the feature card of Day 1, Round 1 coverage of the Pro Weekend Tournament, alongside Ricky Wysocki, Manabu Kajiyama, and Josh Anton. The same, however, cannot be said for the Advanced AM winner of the FBO Division. This past weekend I had the pleasure of playing in the Lagoon Valley charity event held in Vacaville, California, and happened to be placed on the card with Nicole Lowe. Nicole Lowe was actually the Advanced AM winner of the AM Weekend Masters Cup tournament. After talking with her a little bit, it became strikingly obvious that she didn't get the same chances that Thomas Tomaselli was given. So I asked her to share her story. She says, "I came back 6 strokes in the final round to take the Advanced Women's Division in the Masters Cup. The overall experience was fun and the TDs were great. Playing daisy chains the next weekend, I was asked if I was going to be playing in the following Pro weekend of the Masters Cup since I had won the AM weekend. I didn't know that this was a thing until she had mentioned it, and a few others I'd played with over the past year messaged me asking the same thing. I found out that the Advanced Men's winner got an invite to play on the feature card. When I realized I didn't get the same opportunity, it was like a slap in the face. Apparently, they don't give this opportunity to women anymore. I personally would have loved the chance to play with some of the women I admire and look up to, not to mention the opportunities that could arise for someone looking to be sponsored. I had reached out to the TDs via Facebook and I haven't received a response even though it shows they have read the message. Since this, I have vowed to get better and show support to all women and what they stand for in this sport." I, for one, was very shocked when I had heard her story. In disc golf, there isn't as much of a separation in the sport as there is in professional basketball or even professional soccer. Yes, there is a quantity difference, but most of the time these two divisions are treated the same. To give the amateur winner of the Advanced Men's Division an opportunity but not the Women's Division winner is really kind of sketchy, and to me kind of almost sounds like an oversight by the staff of the Masters Cup. Since other people knew about it, it seemed as if this had been something that was done previously but might have been just simply forgotten this past year. To not be afforded the same opportunity as her Advanced Men's winner counterpart is blatantly unfair. I hope the best for Nicole and her career and appreciate her letting me share her story. This coming weekend, we move from the wooded and technical holes of Santa Cruz, California to the wide open spaces of Utah and to the Utah Open sponsored by Latitude 64. This is the first Disc Golf Pro Tour stop in about a month's time and will be quite an event to watch. This is the 3rd year of this event, and last year and the year before that it was not a previously sanctioned tournament. So this will be the first time that this event has been sanctioned itself. This course is beautiful and long, with the mountains creating a majestic backdrop. This tournament takes place on a ball golf course, so we're going to see our fair share of mandatories, of sand pits being OB, of water being OB, but this year we're not going to see any sidewalks OB. If you watched last year's coverage from CCDG, you saw and heard from the tournament director himself that the sidewalks are not going to be OB on all of the holes. This caused a little bit of confusion last year, as well as some frustration with the players last year, so the tournament director took that feedback this year and has X'd that out, so that way all of those will be in play. Being a ball golf course, this is fairly wide open, and this is going to rely mainly on your first and second shot, with that second shot really being the toughest. Since these are longer holes, you're mainly going to see a bunch of bombs out there, which then have calculated approaches. And that approach is really what is going to solidify the score and what solidifies the game for the weekend. With many sand traps, water, obstructing trees, and with placements on top of hills, that is where this approach becomes so essential to somebody's game. It's going to be very crucial for these players to play it safe, to play it smart throughout the entirety of this weekend. This course sits at roughly 4,400 feet above sea level, so we're going to see a little bit of different disc selection, I would think, for this tournament compared to De La's golf course, which sat roughly at 300 feet above sea level. Players might be going with a little bit more understability in their plastic, or maybe just some things working into the bag that are a little bit more beat up and more trusty. And of course, this being a ball golf course, we have a long course in front of us for the weekend. This course roughly sits at 8,340 feet, which places each hole at an average of 464 feet. Obviously some of those being quite a bit longer, and a couple of those actually being shorter with some mandatories to fight with. In 2015 we saw Paul Ulibarri take the title 2 strokes over Ricky Wysocki, followed then in third by Avery Jenkins and Simon Lizotte in 4th place. In 2015, it was an unsanctioned tournament, and we actually saw 2 rounds in one day for this event. In 2016, however, we saw a complete new set of faces, with Jeremy Colling taking the top spot, followed closely by Bobby Music taking the 2nd spot. And in 3rd, we had Drew Gibson, the DD Young Gun, and in 4th place we saw PB Patrick Brown from the San Francisco area round out our top 4. With no Simon, no Eagle, no Paul Macbeth, this really gives a couple of young guns the chance to rise up and get those bigger purses. That being said, the combined purse for this entire tournament is going to be $27,820. $23,000 of that going to the MPO division and almost $5,000 of that going to the FBO division. Now on to my picks for the 2017 Utah Open MPO. In first place, I'm going to have to pick the world champ Ricky Wysocki. There's nothing really here for him to compete with other than himself. He is the one who can either make it or break it in this tournament, and I think with no Paul and with the showing that he had in Masters, even though impressive as it was, not coming out on first, I think he really rides that and rises to the occasion and takes this win down. In second place, I'm going to have to go with Big Germ Jeremy Colling. He has really improved his putting game over the past couple of tournaments, especially in the Masters Cup, which catapulted him into the top feature card on the last day. He also is coming off a win at the Creekside Open, which was a B tier last weekend in Utah. However, this B tier was not as wide open or not as long as what we're going to see this weekend, so that's something to keep in mind. In third, I'm going to have to go with last year's second place winner, Bobby Music. Bobby Music really gave Jeremy Colling quite a bit of run for his money last year. He is coming off a 6th place finish as well off of the Creekside Open. And in 4th place, my long shot for the week is going to have to be Austin Turner. I was really impressed with his play at the Masters Cup, having finished within the top 10, and I think that he is going to excel off of that. He finished in 6th place at this Creekside Open in Utah, and I think he really is going to ride that, and with his lefty power in forehand and in backhand, I really think we see him explode to the top 2 cards in this tournament. Some notable other things to take note of and to watch out for this weekend are going to be Simon Lizotte and Eagle McMahon are still out. The Discmania Smash Brothers are still out for this tournament. However, we do have confirmation that Eagle McMahon will be back for the Beaver State Fling. Josh Anton is also going to be attending his second big tournament in a row, having finished 9th at the Masters. It'll be interesting to see how he tackles these longer holes, and weather permitting, how many rollers we see out of him. Drew Gibson took 3rd place last year and is looking to crack into the top 5 in this tournament. Drew has had his ups and downs this year, and I'm sure not finishing quite as well as he wanted, especially in the GBO standings. That being said, however, Drew does have the talent and the prowess to finish within that top 10. Paul Ulibarri is also going to be somebody that we need to watch out for. He has yet to clinch a top 5 in a major tournament this year. However, Paul has experience on this course and this tournament and should be fairly well rested after not appearing in the Masters Cup this year. Someone also to keep your eyes on in the standing is going to be young gun Anthony Barella. He took 4th in last weekend's Creekside Open, shooting 2 solid 10-30 rounds, but failed to close out on the last round, dropping from 1st to 4th place. This being a Disc Golf Pro Tour event, we will see some live coverage brought to you by Smashbox TV. On Thursday, Friday, and Saturday this week, we will see live coverage brought to you starting at 4:00 p.m. Eastern Time, with rounds starting at 4:30. I have heard that DGS Productions and CCGG will also be there filming first and second card coverage, so be on the lookout for that. As always, I will post a link in the description below to those channels so that way you can watch all your disc golf needs this weekend. Smashbox did confirm that they will be showing the FBO lead card during the downtime of the MPO live stream, as they have been doing in the past. On the FBO side, things are a little bit off from what we've seen at the Masters Cup. There are only 5 women competing in the FBO division this weekend. Of those 5, we are going to see Katrina Allen, Amy Bilodeau, Paige Pierce, Madison Walker, and Jessica Weiss. Some notable players are missing from that lineup. One of note is going to be Sarah Holcomb. I was under the impression that she was going to be at this tournament. However, on the PGGA.com website, she is not listed as attending. As we are leading up to Worlds, I think we're going to see some of the FBO players kind of pick and choose where they are, just to kind of stay fresh, as well as most of these pros are not full-time touring pros and do have daytime jobs. On the FBO side, I think we see Paige Pierce come out on top. I think she has just been so dominant this season and is really on a roll that she clinches this title. In second place, I think we see the 2016 Utah Open champion, Katrina Allen. I think she's really kind of struggled as of late. I think her power is there, her putting is almost there. A little bit of her approaches are askew from what I've seen in the Masters Cup. But as long as she can keep her head on, I think that she can be in the competition there, up there with Paige Pierce. In third, I think we see Madison Walker. I think Madison Walker has the ability and has the talent to challenge those top 2, being Paige Pierce and Katrina Allen. I think that Paige Pierce and Katrina, though, just really run with it this week, especially given that Madison is coming off of her injury as she is. And in fourth place, I have rounding out the bottom with Jessica Weiss. This weekend's tournament being set on a ball golf course, I wanted to talk about the rising popularity of ball golf courses versus disc golf courses. Ball golf courses have great appeal to me. They're very long, they're very trim, they're very well upkept, and something that's really kind of high class and a commodity to have. You have carts, you have most of the time, not necessarily tee pads, but you have nice baskets, you have less traveled greens, so you're not being held up, you're not having pile-ups on cards or anything like that. There is a pay-to-play aspect to it, but I'm not necessarily going to a ball golf course every day to practice my shots, which makes it nice for, the once a month round that you do at the ball golf course. That being said, I don't want to see this sport turn into a ball golf course dominated range. That just really shows off the distance, and while I know there can be aspects of accuracy and of consistency that need to be present on a ball golf course, especially in a tournament setting. I think that seeing the wooded shots and seeing those pros kind of dial it back and handle those tight wooded courses is really something to me that speaks disc golf. So for instance, this past weekend in the Masters Cup, we saw 2 rounds on a historically tight, historically tough course. And then we finished with a very tough but yet very commendable ball golf course. This wasn't just an easy pitching, 600 feet up and down in order to get your par. This is something we saw OBs left and right, but not necessarily illogical. These were definitely logical, well thought out OBs that really challenged the player and weren't there for the sake of being an OB. So I think as this sport continues to thrive, I think we might see a little bit of gravitation towards that ball golf course, mainly because it is spectator friendly, it is camera friendly, and it's just fun to see these guys throw that far. However, I would really hate to see it become dependent on that. And while it is glamorous, it isn't all too impressive. For instance, this year we are going on a Disc Golf Pro Tour stop to Idlewild, Kentucky, into one of my favorite courses. This course is an amazing course. This is probably the De La of the Midwest. It is something that is just huge. Something aside from the Flip City of Michigan is a mecca and something that all disc golfers should play because it is so intense, so tough, but yet it is well kept, it is well maintained, and it is just a sight to behold. I really hope courses and I really hope coverage adapts to the nature and the setup that disc golf courses currently have, and that we don't see a kind of revert to ball golf courses. But that's just my thoughts, so let me know what you think in the comments below. And that's our show. As always, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and check us out on Facebook for all the postings and updates throughout the week. And until next round, I'm D.G.S.